Today we're going to learn how to make my scrumptious pepper steak. Stay tuned. So first I start up with chopping up my vegetables. And I have me 2 Scotch bonnet peppers. You gotta excuse me, I'm doing all the work with the hand and the camera. I have a couple of cloves of garlic. I didn't chop them, I just smashed them and peel them and smash. I have some red onions, green peppers, some orange sweet bell peppers, and yellow peppers. I have some white onion. I have here some green onions and some fresh thyme. And you can use, if I didn't have any red peppers, so I didn't use them. So usually I like to have the red in there, but if you don't have it, you use what you have. I had an extra red onion that I needed to get rid of, so I just chopped that up in there too. So this is my meat that I have. Let me get the light on it. This is the meat that I had refrigerated for about 2 hours. It's been marinating and smells awesome. I'm gonna mix that in. And here I just had some olive oil, fresh sea salt, pepper, some parsley. Get in there, yes. Some olive oil, sea salt, fresh black cracked pepper, some Worcestershire sauce, and I also use a scoop of jerk seasoning. It's optional depending if that's how you want the heat, but the type, I like my pepper steak a little spicy. Now the type of cut of meat I used, I didn't buy it cut up already. What I did use was some shoulder blade steaks, and they come about 4 in a pack. They can be pretty pricey, so I wait till they go on sale. And what I did is I vertically lined them up on my cutting board and sliced them vertically. So we're gonna heat up our pan and we're gonna get started with this delicious recipe, pepper steak. Get ready. So I coated my pan, my cast iron, with a little coating of olive oil. I'm not gonna use too much because I have olive oil marinated inside of the meat and we don't want to make it too oily. So right now I put my garlic in first because I want to infuse get that garlic roasted in there and get all that stuff infused. I'm going to add my Scotch bonnet. Just get all the garlic in. And if you missed it, I am making some pepper steak. I'm just gonna get that. And you can crush it if you want. And I have my heat on a medium-high heat. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in some of my onions. I'm going to put my red onions in first because I want those to kind of get nice and transparent. Now you can pair this dish with rice, eat it plain. You can saute some spinach on the side. I'm going to have it, I was thinking about having it with some sauteed spinach. I don't know. But whatever you pair it with, I promise you, this recipe is delicious. And it's quick. Now depending on your burner and how your cookware heats up, you might want to monitor your heat so you don't want to pop yourself. And you know what? Let me go put on my apron so I don't pop myself. Okay, I'm back. And we are roasting some, not roasting, but stir frying up some onions, this garlic, this alone right here smells so good. Onion and garlic, fresh onion and garlic in anything you make. It's so, oh, the aroma is delightful. Okay, so we're gonna get our meat in there. I'm gonna put in a little bit of these green onions. The green onions that you cut up, or scallions, you want to save half, some for garnishment too. So let's get this meat in here cooking. It smells delicious. Make sure you keep an eye on where you have that Scotch bonnet. Now this broth that I have, I'm going to save that because I'm going to use that if I need it for later on. I'm not going to cook with it now because I want my meat to somewhat get nice and, you know, seared. So I'm going to turn my fire up. I turned it down to a 4. I'm going to turn it back up to the medium-high heat that I said I had it on in the beginning. I'm just going to add a couple of springs of thyme. And I'm just let this do what it do. And this recipe is really easy. I mean, if you prepped or not prepped. I mean, when I say prepped or not prepped, meaning sometimes you come home and you don't want to do all the chopping and whatnot. And, you know, sometimes you can just cut up your vegetables, your peppers and onions and whatnot, and you freeze them. Put them in a freezer safe bag and you have everything prepped. When you go food shopping, cut up your meat then. Season it before you freeze it. So much easier. It makes things so much easier. It doesn't kill your day when you come home from a long day's work. Especially when you have kids. Like me. Okay. As you can see, it is starting to brown. But I'm gonna let it get a nice sear, and I will be right back with adding the rest of the onions and the peppers. So be right back. So now we're gonna add our onions. As you see, I'm just putting it on top. We're gonna add our peppers. I like a lot of peppers in my pepper steak. As you can see. What you can do, season up those peppers, a little bit of pepper and salt. If you don't want to use any salt, don't use any salt. But I like it. I don't use too much salt. So here we go. Get in there. Oh no, you can come out. What are you doing? Okay. Let me find my color for this pan. And what I'm going to do now is cover this and let it cook down. I'll be back. It's probably going to cook down for about 10 minutes and I will be back. Leave your pot ajar. Be back. Okay, so let's check on our pot. It's been cooking for a couple of 10 minutes. As you can see, you got a nice broth that's formulated, and you just want to do a nice toss from the bottom to the top. Make sure you're aware of where your Scotch bonnet peppers are if you are incorporating them in this meal. Now, where are mine? Okay, there's one, and I'm going to remove this one because it looks pretty soft. I'm going to remove this one too. I use my Scotch bonnet just for a smoky taste. Now, if you used fresh thyme, now is the perfect time, if you see these sticks, just to remove it. Most of the herb has been steamed off already, so you can just take that once you see them while you're tossing. My hands are always clean. Now that I have the vegetables somewhat mixed in, I'm going to cover my pot again and let that broth come up, and I'm going to show you how we darken and thicken it next. Be right back. Okay, so now that our vegetables have somewhat gotten tender, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of browning. And browning is usually something I use in my oxtails and my beef dishes to create nice, rich, dark gravies. And this is the brand that I use, Blue Mountain Country. When you're using this, I only poke a small hole, and you do not need much. Just a couple of drops. You do not need much, as you can see. Now this is called burnt sugar. And it gives, it's really not a sweet taste, but it gives like a little sweet taste. And but it's mostly for coloring. Doesn't overpower your food or take away from. Some people marinate their meat in it. I don't. As you can see, that beautiful, rich, dark color. You want to add a little at a time, a little bit at a time, because you do not want you don't want to overuse it. Okay, I see some more sticks. Let me get these out of there. Oh, that's hot. Come on, come on. See, I'm from the country. We don't mind a stick in our food. When I say stick in our food, I mean our herbs. Just pull it out your mouth. That's all. But if you want, you can also use dried thyme. Okay, so as you can see, the color is getting nice and dark and rich. And I'm going to push everything over to the side because now I'm going to make my gravy, as you can see. Making like a little lake, you understand? This is where I'm going to do my gravy. You can use cornstarch or regular all-purpose flour. Basically what I do is I just pour some in my hand. That's about enough. Take my whisk and just shake and mix. Shake and mix. My fire is still on a medium high. Just shake and mix. Now as flour cooks down, it can get thicker, so don't think that, oh, it's not thick enough, let me add some more flour. No, flour thickens up upon standing and as you cook. So that is enough if you're going to do like a small pot. It does get thicker. Look at that beautiful gravy. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Rinse my hands. Now let's flip this all together. Amazing. Look at that. Beautiful, rich color. What you're going to do now is you're going to turn your fire down on low because the meat is done. If you use shoulder blade meat, basically you don't have to worry about it being tough. This meat cooks down very easily and it's very tender. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to throw on some more green onion. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. I'm going to plate this up and I'm going to add my peppers back for more smoke. This is going to cook on low for about 5 minutes more. That's just to get the flour incorporated and get it nice and bubbly. But for the most part, it's done. And I'll be back with a plated pick. Thank you. See you soon. And there you have it. I paired my pepper steak with some penne rigatoni pasta, and I only put some pesto, some parmesan on that, and mix that up, and voila, no rice today. Thank you for joining me. Click, share, and like. Thanks. And if you haven't been a part of a wonderful, phenomenal group where I get my looks and my beauty and my tips from, join Wig Slayers exclusives on Facebook. Nicole Sanders, thank you for pushing me into the culinary arts to express myself. And I just want to give a shout out to all the beautiful, inspirational, inspiring women there on that site. Join it. You will not regret it. It's a great sisterhood for women. And that's the end of my tutorial. My dog is hungry. He smells that food. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Bye.